Ladies and gentlemen of the internet jury, court is officially in session. Grab your gavels and a drink, because this week's lineup isn't just messy, it's unhinged. We've got family trees being set on fire, larceny involving layers of pasta, and a man who thinks a box of noodles is a crime scene. Today, we're diving into stories where the audacity is at an all-time high, including 2 exclusive cases at the end. Let's deliberate. OP has been the black sheep for a decade because she refuses to let her children breathe the same air as her mother's husband. While the rest of the family pretends everything is perfect, OP has stayed far away to protect her peace. The other week, her brother Adam finally got married to a woman named Abby, who was desperate to unite their massive family. Abby cornered OP at the reception, begging to know why she was such a dramatic brat who refused to bring her kids around. When Abby revealed she was 10 weeks pregnant and wanted her child to know everyone, OP felt the air leave the room. She realized her brother had lied to his wife about why they were really estranged. OP took a deep breath and told Abby the truth, that her mother's husband had made her childhood a living nightmare, and no one in that family had ever protected her. OP walked out of the wedding right then, but the damage was done. Abby started digging and discovered the stepfather's actual arrest record and his place on the registry. She immediately warned the other wives and girlfriends, none of whom had any idea who they were letting their children sit next to at Sunday dinner. Now 4 of OP's brothers are facing divorce and 2 more have been dumped, and the entire family is blaming OP for destroying their lives. OP has been with his wife since they were basically kids. They've known each other forever, married for years, and recently welcomed their second baby. The first accusation came when she was pregnant the first time. She blamed hormones. He believed her. After their oldest turned 1, it started again. She said a friend had been cheated on and it made her paranoid. Doctors cleared her for postpartum depression. The accusations stayed. She tracks his phone. She drives to his office to check his car. She calls his workplace asking who he's with. She even accused his boss of being his secret affair partner. When OP runs out for diapers, she calls him a pig. If he's gone for minutes, she's convinced he found someone in that time. He suggested therapy. She refused. He went alone. She admitted she never believed him but wanted all her kids to have the same father, so she ignored it until she was done having babies. The other day, OP told her it has to change or the marriage ends. She said he can't destroy their family and reminded him she still wants more children. Her family says he has to stay for the kids. OP says he feels like he's waiting for this to turn violent and he's terrified he'll lose his job if she keeps calling. He swears he has never cheated. So if he walks away to protect himself and his livelihood, is he abandoning his family or saving it from something worse? Imagine losing your marriage, your primary custody, and your dignity all in the same year, only to realize your own mother has already chosen your replacement. OP is a 42-year-old mother of 2, who finally signed her divorce papers after a grueling 2-year legal battle that left her feeling completely discarded. The sting became unbearable when she realized her ex-husband was spending all his time with a 23-year-old surf instructor who represents everything OP feels she is no longer. The other weekend, OP picked up her children for a planned visit to see her parents, but the kids had a different idea. They mentioned they would rather use their theme park passes since they had already spent the entire previous week with their grandparents and their aunt and uncle. OP was stunned because she didn't even know her siblings were in town. When she asked how they all got together, the children revealed that her parents hadn't just invited her siblings, they had invited her ex-husband as well. The betrayal deepened when OP's daughter mentioned they didn't just hang out at the house. The entire family went to the young surf instructor's home for private lessons. OP's parents, her siblings, and her ex-husband were all bonding with the new girl, while OP was left in total the dark. Devastated, OP sent a furious email to her entire family, calling them out for the massive slap in the face and the cruelty of being excluded from her own family's reunion. Her mother's response was ice cold. She admitted they should have mentioned the visit, but followed it up by saying they didn't divorce the ex-husband and they still view him as a son. She ended the message by telling OP that her recent behavior is exactly why she is no longer invited to family events. Now OP is left wondering if her anger was justified or if she truly is the problem. Imagine walking through a dusty warehouse district and seeing the exact same 1972 Ford Bronco your late father bought you when you were a teenager. For OP, this wasn't just a car. It was the only thing that bridged the gap during those rough years before his father passed away. When he reached under the dash and felt the wheat penny they had glued there together for luck, he knew he couldn't let it drive away again. But here is where the story takes a dark turn into betrayal. The owner had another buyer on the way, so in a moment of pure desperation, OP didn't just spend his savings. He drained the $12,000 college fund his in-laws gave his newborn daughter, maxed out his credit cards, and took a $4,000 loan from his mother just to keep the truck. He drove home in his dream car, while his wife sat at home struggling with postpartum depression and the dread of returning to a job she hates because they can't afford for her to stay home. His wife and her parents are absolutely devastated, claiming he traded his daughter's future for a rusted heap of metal. OP argues he has 18 years to pay it back, but the tension at home has become so toxic he's actually afraid to pull into his own driveway. To make matters worse, he's now planning to lie to his wife, telling her he sold the truck while his mother secretly bails him out behind the scenes. He believes this is a victimless crime that restores his happiness, while his family sees it as the ultimate act of deception. Imagine waking up to your 7-week-old infant screaming in hunger while your husband sits inches away with noise-canceling headphones on, claiming it's probably just cramps. OP has been operating as a single mother since the day they came home from the hospital, handling every midnight feeding, every chore, and every diaper change while her husband manages to show up barely 20% of the time. When the other night left her incapacitated with physical pain, he promised to take over, only for her to find the baby soaked through his clothes and the mattress, because his father couldn't be bothered to look up from a video game. The tension finally boiled over when it came time to book a newborn photo shoot. Originally, the husband refused to pay for professional photos at all, but the moment OP's mother offered to foot the bill, he suddenly insisted on being included. However, he refuses to shift his lunch break by even a few minutes to accommodate the only local photographer, instead demanding they hire a much more expensive professional who charges a premium for after-hours sessions, a cost he expects his mother-in-law to cover. Tired of the entitlement and the lack of support, OP decided to cut him out of the frame entirely. She is planning to take the baby for a private session to celebrate the fact that she has survived these first 2 months on her own. With divorce papers already crossing her mind, she doesn't want a permanent memory of a man who hasn't truly been there. He thinks she's being spiteful, but she feels she is simply capturing the reality of her life. Imagine spending your entire weekly food budget on a single, labor-intensive meal only to watch it vanish the moment you turn your back. The other day, OP's girlfriend spent hours crafting a gourmet homemade lasagna from scratch, intending for the massive tray to feed her for the rest of the week. After a lovely date night, OP asked if he could take some home for his family to try. She gave him a simple yes. But when he walked out the door, he didn't just take a slice. He carried away the entire heavy tray without her seeing him leave. The next morning, the girlfriend was horrified to find her fridge completely empty and her meal prep for the week gone. When she confronted him about his assumption, OP argued that since she didn't explicitly forbid him from taking the whole thing, he did nothing wrong. His family of 5 feasted on that single tray for 2 straight nights, while his girlfriend was forced to survive on instant noodles to stay within her budget. Now she is asking him to buy her a simple sandwich to make up for the theft, but OP refuses, claiming it was her responsibility to set clear boundaries on his portion size. He thinks she is being dramatic, while she is calling him a selfish guest who cleared out her pantry. Now he's wondering if he's actually the one in the wrong. The gluten-free betrayal. Imagine being accused of food tampering because you let your boyfriend cook the wrong box of noodles. OP keeps a specific stash of gluten-free pasta in her pantry because her best friend has celiac disease and visits often. To OP, it's just food, so she didn't think twice when her boyfriend offered to make dinner the other evening. She told him to grab a box from the pantry, and he did exactly that. He picked it up, opened it, and boiled the pasta before tossing it in a homemade sauce. They sat down and enjoyed a perfectly normal meal together, but the atmosphere shifted the second he started cleaning up. He caught a glimpse of the label while throwing the box away and suddenly froze. He turned to OP and demanded to know if she realized the pasta was gluten-free. When she calmly explained that it was what she had in stock, he didn't just get annoyed. He became genuinely upset. He claimed she should have warned him before he started cooking, despite the fact that he was the one who handled the box. He actually looked her in the eye and accused her of food tampering. OP thought he was joking and laughed, but that only made him more defensive. Now he insists that she violated his right to know what he puts in his body, even though he has no allergies, and simply thinks gluten-free food is for health nuts. He left her place in a cold silence and has been acting distant ever since. OP is left wondering if she is actually expected to narrate the contents of her own pantry, or if this reaction is as absurd as it feels. The underwear ultimatum. OP used to be close with him, but that changed after the way he treated her best friend. She did not hate him, but she did not want him under her roof. So when her husband casually mentioned that his brother would be staying over to sort out some family assets they were thinking about selling, OP made her boundary clear. She did not want him there. Her husband refused, insisting it would be a shorter visit if they handled everything from their home. From the moment he arrived, OP felt irritated. He filled the house with constant sarcastic jokes, the kind that never quite land and never really stop. A couple of days in, she asked again for him to stay at a hotel. Her husband still would not budge, so OP told her brother-in-law directly that she did not want him there. He stayed anyway. That was when OP made a decision. She started walking around her own home in her underwear, knowing he would not resist making a comment. He did. Her husband was furious, and suddenly the hotel seemed like a great idea. But after his brother left, OP stopped. During an argument, her husband asked why the show ended so quickly. His brother accused her of manipulating her husband and warned her it would backfire. Now her husband is angrier about the strategy than the guest ever was. And that concludes today's session of How Are These People Real? The verdicts? Messy. The accountability? Rare. The audacity? Limitless. As always, I need to know who's the villain, who's the victim, and who needs to log off and touch grass immediately. Drop your rulings in the comments. Be ruthless. Be fair. Be slightly unhinged, but respectfully. If you enjoyed serving on this chaotic court, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another week of moral gymnastics and emotional plot twists. Court is adjourned.